Yes, I do. I've ridden since I was about 8 years old. It was something I've done since a kid, and my father made the original On Any Sunday, which I still think is probably my favorite movie of all time. So those two were the motivating factors for doing it, yeah. Dirt bikes. Well, I love riding on the street, but it's dangerous with the other. I've lost a couple friends in traffic and stuff, you know, so I feel more comfortable on a dirt bike. I don't have as much guts as Robbie does with that kind of stuff. I hope so. I don't think I'd claim it one way or another. I mean, that's for the audience to decide. I tried my best to maintain the legacy. To be honest, all of them were great guys. Robbie's right up there. Carlin Dunn has become a really good friend of mine. It'd be a hard thing to delineate, but I'd say one of those two, either Robbie or Carlin. I'll let them battle it out. Were my favorites to work with. But there wasn't anybody that wasn't easy, and I think motorcycle people are some of the nicest people in the world. And I'm not quite sure why that is, but they seem really accessible and they're easy to work with, and they make my job simple. Yeah, I do. I think they're special in a lot of ways. I think what they do, there's a passion that's shared amongst them and there's a humility, and possibly the humility is because they kind of put so much on the line. There's a natural humility. There's not as much kind of bravado with them that I think is expected from the outside. They're very simple. I don't mean simple in a bad way. They're easygoing, humble, fun people. You know, so there's not a lot of egos. There's not a lot of games going on. So they're a lot of fun to work with. You know, we used the original as an inspiration. And when we first came up, when I first wrote out the outline of what we thought, I ran that by him. And then he knew when we were shooting what we do, but I kind of kept him in the dark. And then I started sending him the rough cuts, you know, when it was getting closer, because I needed somebody with fresh eyes to see it. And then he liked it the whole time. You know, he just saw it. There was a special screening, just played in the United States, but they had a special screening maybe 3 nights ago, and I was with him, and he still likes it. And that makes me as proud as anything, that he enjoys it. Well, everything's changed quite a bit, right? The motorcycles have changed. Because the boundaries that are pushed, you don't see in a lot of other sports. You know, in motorcycling, I notice people, whether you're riding a street bike or something, they like all the other disciplines. You know, the 2 wheels unites people. So I think that's the same, but like everything else, things have evolved quite a bit, and I like that. On the one hand, you have something that's maybe visually different, music's different, sounds different. You know, there's a lot of advances, but at its heart, the heartbeat's the same, which I think is kind of neat. You know. I think so. Yeah, I think the bikes are safer. You know, they can do more. Yeah, I mean, of course, we all have, or I do. I'm of the age. I have a lot of nostalgia for open-face helmets and the old bikes, but I think they've evolved just fine, you know, as well. It's a good question. When Robbie, you know, I keep mentioning Robbie, when Robbie landed that jump, that was pretty special to me, because there was that fear that maybe that wouldn't work. When Mark won the world championship, that was real special. I think the thing you take away from movies like this is A, hopefully you did a good job, and B, you made some friends and you know, lifelong friends along the way. So that's what stands out the most, you know, in between the crew and the people we documented. I'd say just do it. You know, I mean, the best you can. I think a lot of people are going to tell you can't. They're going to give you advice on what's sexy and what sells and what demographics are like and all that kind of input, which is all, it all has its place. But if you believe in something and you feel it's a good story, I figure do it the best you can. And we live in a world now with, between your phone and cameras, you can do it as inexpensive as ever. So I would say, you know, don't listen to all the experts and, you know, do what you're going to do. Because I think some of the best work comes out of, I don't know if it's ignorance, but just out of believing you can do it. My son Wes makes films, and my daughter's on the jewelry business. So Wes, maybe, and I'll be probably starting a film next year, and I'm not quite sure what the film's about yet. We're kind of trying to figure that out.